Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 195 of the Basecast. We are back again, as promised. Each week, we are back for your viewing and listening pleasure. I am your host, as always, Asim. I've got Gary with me. Gary, how you doing? As you take a swig of that drink.
Yeah, you caught me off guard then. I'm good. I'm good, thank you.
Nice. And Aaron is back from his hiatus, from his illness, which is not COVID, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you want to write in and inquire about Aaron, it wasn't COVID. Aaron, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. And on the rotating, you have to rotate the chair, Ben. This is part of the rules. Andy started this, so you got to rotate the chair.
I'll take my headphone out.
He's got to unplug everything.
The rotating chair is Mr. Benjamin Ward. Ben, welcome back. I know you were on hosting duties a couple of weeks back, but you're back in the hot rotating fourth chair.
Indeed. How are we doing?
Yeah, very good. In that lovely Stranger Things t-shirt, which I am watching again as well. So this is actually you've timed it quite nicely.
Yeah, new season's on the way, isn't it?
It is. I'm trying to catch up. Yeah. But yeah, we're all doing well. We will get into straight away with what we've been playing. Ben, we'll leave you to last because I know you've got one particular game to talk about. We'll start with Mr. Aaron Sullivan. He's been away for a while. What have you been playing, good sir?
What did I do? I platinumed Ratchet and Clank.
What?
Nice.
It's fun, isn't it? It's a fun game. Come on.
It's the most chill game I've ever played in my life. I was just like, all right, this is something. It's easy.
Yeah.
Nice and chill.
Yeah.
What else did I play? I started Guardians of the Galaxy, but I've not got too far into that.
Nice.
Maybe 2 hours. That's a fucking well-written game, isn't it?
It is a well-written game, yes.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's great. Yeah.
Incredibly good. And what else did I do? Dragon Quest 11 on Game Pass.
Interesting.
Going back to that. That's my old game that I'm going back to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge Dragon Quest fan, but I played, Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2?
That was a long time ago. I remember both of us playing it, yeah.
And that game was fucking awesome. One of the best
really good.
I've ever played.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Let's give this a go. The story's not really grabbed me so far, but I'm only 5 hours in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Anything else, or was that it?
Actually, Lost Ark. I know everybody's playing Lost Ark.
Interesting. Okay.
Isometric MMO. Go on.
Yeah, so this is a new MMO from Amazon Studios, right? Is it Amazon Studios?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure they originally made it, but they've brought it over to UK, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Or the UK or the Western world.
You got in without queuing, or did you have to queue?
No, of course not. Everybody's queuing.
Everybody's queuing. Yeah.
Well, yesterday there was 14,000 person queue. That took about 5 hours to get in.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And how's that?
To log out of that game.
Is it?
It's actually really well crafted. Like usually when I play Korean MMO stuff, it's the quality is not quite there. It's more like it kind of feels like it's more focused on trying to get you to log in every day.
Oh, okay.
Which is still there. Obviously, there's a ton of systems that reward you for logging in and doing menial things and dailies and stuff like that. But the actual main story of it is actually really well crafted. Like even if you're not particularly into MMOs, just because of the way it's built and it's isometric and it's kind of Diablo style. They've done a really, really good job in presenting it. I'm actually really surprised at how good it is.
Okay.
So good that I actually have to stop playing it because it's kind of one of those games where you just play it every day, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah, you don't have time for that anymore. Yeah, because I remember you were properly into Warcraft back in the day, weren't you? So
yeah.
So that's
a bad time in one's life. Yeah, we won't talk about the Warcraft.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's a lot of that's a lot of games, but so some good games there as well. Nice. Mr. Clark, what have you been doing, sir?
So I've been going back and forth with NBA and Forza. I've been sort of going back with older games, but I started Kenna.
Yeah.
Is it pronounced Kenna or... Because I thought it was Kenna, but when I was playing it, she pronounces it Kena. So whichever pronunciation of it is.
Kenna
same.
as well.
I know this has been done to death, people saying it, but it is very much like a Pixar movie. It's beautiful, stunning. I've only played sort of probably an hour and a half so far. It's good. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know. It seems a bit basic at the moment with regards to combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
but the story seems quite interesting, and like, yeah, it's one of the nicest looking games I've played for a long time. Very sort of cute and sort of very Pixar-ish. Yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I bought that ages ago, but I forgot all about it. And then I thought, actually, why don't I just play it? Because I didn't really have much to play.
Why not?
So yeah, and then soon I think I'm going to get Cyberpunk because now we've got the.
We will talk about that.
Update, but I haven't got around.
Yeah.
I haven't got around to buying that yet. But yeah, so at the moment I'm playing Kena, whatever it's called. It's enjoyable. Considering it's their first like game, right? Because they used to be like animation students or whatever, animation employees at some So that's pretty good.
It is a good game, but I think you're right. It doesn't do anything like groundbreakingly new, but what it does, it does very well. So it's a solid. I'd call it. It does get it. Don't let its cutesy exterior or like the start of it fool you. It does get a bit trickier later on with like some of the bosses you'll come across, and how you use the little things. I forgot what you call them now. The spirits. They have a name. I forgot their name. Whatever they are, the little cleat things that you collect. Someone will be shouting at the screen right now, or whatever. But the main premise is like you obviously clear the areas, and then you've got like a boss fight, and it's like kind of like dungeon-esque almost. It's kind of got elements of like Zelda in there as well. But and it has like challenge chests as well that actually challenge you with like. You have to complete these areas in like a minute to click, to get something special or something like that. But the game is good. But I finished it late last year, I think. So I think you've got it's a good game to finish off, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it.
Is it quite long, or is it like a 5-hour experience?
I think overall it's probably about 8 to 10 hours. You can probably blast it through in like a weekend if you really want to. Yeah, absolutely. And then we come to the main event. Mr. Ben has been playing Horizon Forbidden West. If you haven't seen the coverage, we've got a review written on the site. We've got a video review. We've got an extremely good tech analysis video put out by Ben as well. He's done all the things related to Horizon Forbidden West. Without any spoilers, Ben, and I just want you to answer one question before you go on to talk about the game itself. And it comes from Aaron from a few podcasts ago. Is Aloy boring as shit?
Shots fired.
No, I don't think so. I know one thing that Aaron mentioned a while ago was, when we brought the podcast back, and it was the big controversial hot take.
It was. I love Aaron's hot. We should have a section of the podcast, Aaron's hot takes. We should have that.
Yeah.
But it was the question about like the combat with human to human combat.
Yeah.
They've changed it up quite a bit in Forbidden West now. So you've got a few more combos, and it isn't now just a case of like they will stand around and just wait for you to come and attack them. They will actually like kind of move in swarms and like little packs of group packs of people. So it feels better to play the combat as well.
So they went from no AI to
yeah, pretty much.
I love the way Aaron puts things. He's so delicate about it. I love it.
But yeah, I've played the ever loving shit out of Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm still playing it now, just to kind of try and mop up collectibles and stuff like that. Because I believe, and I don't think this is going to be much of a spoiler, but I believe there is a kind of hidden thing like there was in the last game.
Yeah, okay.
There was like the ridiculous power armor or whatever it was. I believe there is at least one hidden thing somewhere in the game, and I've yet to find it.
Okay.
And that's after 60 hours. So
damn, son.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, it's fantastic. Like the world itself is just like so detailed, and it's so like it's got its own little distinct areas as well. Yeah. So like when you start, you're in this kind of just sort of like almost like a medieval England sort of village, an area, and then as you move out, you've got like a barren desert. You've got really like lush jungle. You've got The remains of San Francisco, which had again just been overgrown and everything's decaying from the old world, as they call it, and it's just so many different little, hate using the word biomes, but they're little biomes that you've got there. Like you can go up the top of a mountain and it's just really deep snow. But the story basically picks up from where it left off. With Zero Dawn. The recap that you get at the start of the game I don't think it really takes much into account from Frozen Wilds.
Okay.
So it just kind of picks up, because I think Zero Dawn, we've all completed Zero Dawn, yeah?
Yeah. Gary's like, I don't know.
I got right to the end.
The post-credit scene in Zero Dawn, it finished with Silence releasing Hades.
Yeah.
And then capturing it in his little lantern thing. Basically, the game picks up from there. So you kind of Aloy's searching for something, and then it just sort of starts to spiral from there. There's a lot that I can't obviously talk about for. Actually, the embargo would be up, I think, by the time this goes out, but I'm still not going to spoil it for you guys.
Yes, please. Don't do that.
But I think the biggest problem that I had with the game, from a narrative side, is that there's a really big kind of really heavy narrative push in the latter half of the game that I think came a little bit too late in the day. I think if they wanted it to have the impact and the weight that it feels like they wanted to get from it, I think it probably should have come a little bit earlier in the story. And I think the only other thing is that I mentioned this in the review, that with Zero Dawn, a lot of the smaller personal stories related to Aloy, they all kind of fitted into the main narrative. Yep. Whereas with Forbidden West, they're still there. You still get a few as you go through the game, but a lot of those smaller, more intimate moments are primarily through optional dialogue and things like that. So I don't think it's too much to say, because I know a lot of people have said that at a certain point quite early on in the game you get a little base where everybody goes to, so you can continually go back to the base and have conversations with the people that are part of your crew. I'd probably recommend doing that, because I didn't really do that too much because I was sort of blasting through a lot of the story. But definitely when I went back and sort of retraced some of the older dialogue, it was there is a lot here. It's just sort of hidden underneath that optional layer. But everything else, I think, has been pretty much improved. The climbing is a lot better now. I've seen an awful lot of talk about, it's not Zelda, so it's no good. It's not Breath of the Wild, so it's crap. It's no, because they've opened it up massively now. You can still sort of free climb. If you tap your focus button, it'll highlight little handholds in yellow. So
interesting.
Uncharted is your guide there.
Yeah.
The combat it's kind of the same, but again they've expanded on it. You've got new weapon types, you've got new ammo types, you've got an awesome little weapon called the shredders. So it's have you ever seen I think it's called High-Ally, the sport, where they've got the big curved rackets, and the ball goes in them and you sling the ball out. It's basically like that, and you sling out this flying disc, and then it attaches and it spins onto an enemy and it starts doing damage. And then it flies back to you, and basically if you catch it and sling it back out 3 times, on the 4th time you sling it out, it explodes on the enemy.
Oh, nice.
So it's sort of a little bit of a bit of a mini game there. I just think everything about it is more or less improved from Zero Dawn, which I absolutely
that's good
in the first place.
The fact that they've listened to feedback, and they listened to Aaron's feedback as well, is also very good as well.
A month before it came out.
Exactly, of course. They listened to this podcast, of course they did. I've also heard one thing before you finish up, that it's. Would you agree? I've heard a lot of people talking about it. It's an open world game for people that not usually into open world games. Is that fair to say?
I would probably say so, yeah, because there's a definite sort of funneling down the critical path.
Okay.
But then all of the side stories all feel like really well crafted and like part of the main narrative as well. So you're not like, you won't be 1 second like going taking down like a thunderjaw in a in a field somewhere going, oh, you've saved the whole village. Now can you go and get me some peas? Nothing like that. It's kind of
That's good. That's good.
That there are still like the kind of fetch questy things, like you'll go somewhere, you'll climb up a rock, and then you'll find some and bring them back to the village. But a lot of the side stuff is really well done, really well crafted, and it weaves quite nicely into the main story. But
nice.
The whole like open world, for people that don't like open worlds, like if you want to, you can just get let loose in the world and go and do whatever the hell you want. But it does a really good job of kind of funneling you down into certain things.
Interesting. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. I can't wait to play it. Basically, like we're recording on Wednesday. It's out on a Friday. My copy should be like here on the Thursday or the Friday, so I can't wait. But if you want to check out, like I said, Ben's coverage, go to the site, go to the YouTube channel. Everything is there. Leave comments.
Smashed it.
Yeah, absolutely smashed it with that. So yeah, GG's. What have I been playing? I'll ask myself. So I've been playing Seafood, which I've got an interesting tale with that. Like I started off very positive about it, and that was the same when I was talking to you, Ben, and Gary as well about it. I was like, yeah, definitely think it's very good. The more you play it, the more tedious it becomes. And it's not because I think a lot of people think, oh, because it's a hard game. I mean, being a hard game is fine. Like the Souls games are hard. Like Bloodborne, I absolutely love. That was hard. But a game being hard and a game being good are, this doesn't mesh the two very well. I don't think it tries to be too hard for its own good sometimes, where it just becomes tedious. And that's to say, like the combat is like the first stage where like if you've seen videos and stuff of it, it kind of mimics like the raid and stuff like that, and like scenes from like the Old Boy where it switches the camera, goes sideways. That is like the best part of the game, and you're like, oh, it gets really hyped up. But then after that, once you go through the other stages, there's 5 stages. It becomes very, very tiresome, and like good. The best hard games, they reward you for like doing stuff as well. Like even they reward you for failure as well sometimes. Like the Souls games and Bloodborne, etc. Even if you fail, you get rewarded in some way or another. This doesn't do that. This constantly basically kicks your ass because you're aging as well as you die. And there are points where you can de-age yourself or like reset your counter, but it just comes up to a point where it becomes the word I'm going to use again is tedious. It's not fun. Like ultimately, a video game is supposed to be fun. Like, and I know people will disagree about the Soul games and Born games, like the Bloodborne games, not being fun, but they are designed in a way, even though they're challenging, they are fun. This ultimately, I'm finding at this stage where I'm at now, like the 3rd stage, is not fun, and a lot of it is like you have to go back to improve what you've done previously, so you can de-age yourself for the next stage. And it's just tedious. Like even like it tries to offer like shortcuts through levels, like or stages, to make it easier to like run through and like start the next stage at an earlier age. Even those, just like it's not really a shortcut. It's just more enemies you're facing in a different area and going through it. So it's just like that's not really a reward. Like you're kicking my ass for no reason here. I've already completed this stage. I found the secret. There should be some sort of reward here for an easier path through to the stage. At least a little bit.
Does it feel like sometimes when you die, like it's the thing that I find about hard games is a lot of the time when you die, like it's your fault. Like
sometimes it will be your fault. Sometimes it will be your fault. Most of the time, what I'm finding now, and this might be something they're patching, is the hitboxes seem off. So right. And the parry window is like one of the worst like parry windows I've seen. It's like I still can't get the parry window. And I'm not like saying like I'm an amazing gamer or anything like that, but if the game can't teach you its parry mechanic, early on, because it's a very key part of the game, then it's failing somewhere or another, or the game itself is failing in terms of like it's not done right. It's off. It just feels like it's off. The dodge mechanic is fine.
It's
like
the basics.
Yeah, I've kind of nailed that. And just like in general, like the hitboxes when you get surrounded with like enemies and stuff, or even if you're with one-on-one, sometimes it just feels off. It just feels off, and I don't mean to like totally be down on the game. The game is good, It's just that it's hidden around. It's I think to sum to surmise it would be to say it's a lot of style without not much substance. Sadly, and I'm happy to say that the game does exist, and it's it's an indie studio, and obviously they've gotten a lot of publicity through being involved with PlayStation and the state it plays, and it does look good when you see it in a trailer. But ultimately, I think a lot of people will find when they play it, it's not the game they probably hoped it to be. Beyond that hype dying after the first stage, I think first couple of stages, it's just very tedious. Yeah, I mean, I know they're looking to take on feedback and patch in an easy mode or whatever it is, and do some bug fixes here and there. But right now, I'd say if you're really into this type of game, maybe pick it up or maybe hold off until it's patched a bit. But yeah, it's just ultimately video games are supposed to be fun. When I'm playing this, I'm not having fun at the moment. Sadly.
I mean, I started playing it. We've done a let's look at video, which will be up at some stage. But I started playing it, and I know what you mean about the parry window. It seems it's
ridiculous,
very very precise.
It is ridiculous. I would like to see how Aaron would fare with a game like this. I don't know if you want to pick up Sifu at any point, or you're thinking about picking it up.
No, it's definitely something I was looking at getting. It's just obviously there's shit ton.
Lots of stuff to play. Yeah,
but eventually, hopefully, it will drop in price. Eventually, I will play this game.
I think hopefully down the line it will be better.
You made it sound worse than what I was expecting, but when I first saw it, it looks like my type of game. It looks like something that will engage me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not necessarily of the opinion that games have to be fun, more that they have to be engaging. I don't think the two are quite the same. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And so, as long as it's engaging, I don't necessarily have to have fun, because obviously there has to be a degree of difficulty.
There has to be a degree of challenge, and there is definitely a degree of challenge in the game. And I feel like the engagement part you're saying as well. I think when you play it, I would love to hear your thoughts, because the way it engages the player and tries to re-engage them, obviously once you die and come back into into the level, and then there's parts of it, for example, the part of it is there's skills you unlock, etc. as well. You can only the game is someone's punishing you can only get them permanent if you go back through and die several times, and then obviously bank up your XP and come back and buy them several times. That in itself it doesn't make sense to me either. It's okay, either give it to me straight and let me keep it, or just it's just it's kind of like it wants to have its cake and eat it at the same time. It's just really frustrating.
I can see the frustration.
It is. It is. It's because I want to love the game. I I loved it initially, but it's just the game the game loop is constant backtrack through stages, because for example, if I'm at stage 3 now, I'm aged, and the earliest age I can start it, because that's where I finished it, was 40 something. So to come back through at age 20 or 30, whatever, I'll have to go through stage 2 again and finish it at that earlier age. But then good backtracking through that stage again is just very tedious, especially with all the kind of issues I'm mentioning.
So would you argue that if you went into the game knowing this, you could still, and you like this type of game, you could still find it? You possibly could. Some people might see it as a challenge, as a come at me type thing. But I think generally, from what the marketing portrays to what the game is very different, very very different. And I feel that might put a lot of people up. It sold 500,000 copies across PC and PlayStation, I believe, which is good for a indie game, but I don't see it going. Maybe I see it maxing out at maybe 1.5 million sales lifetime, potentially. I think sales might do it. Like you said, you might pick it up later down the line. It might be £10-15. And I can see it coming to PS Plus or something like that at some point, being that type of game.
Yeah,
that's a good shout.
Yeah. And then apart from that, I tried out Cyberpunk as well, which we'll talk about in a bit. And I've been playing, before the podcast, I was talking about Dying Light 2, which I've started playing. I'm in the first hour of that. Yeah, it seems very good. I mean, I'm playing the console version, so I mentioned to Ben the console version. The tech side of it is very interesting. It has 3 modes, which kind of feel like it's an odd choice. So there's resolution mode, which is not native 4K, it's 1800p and 30 frames. And then there's a performance mode, which is 1080p, locked at 1080p, but 60 frames. And there's a quality mode, which is again locked at 1080p, but has like some ray tracing, shadows, and ambient occlusion and stuff like that. But also locked at 30 frames a second. So it seems like it's kind of giving and taking a lot in terms of its technical side on the consoles. Because usually when it's a performance mode, you expect it on consoles to be like 1440p at minimum and 60 frames. So this is an odd one. But the game itself looks, either way you play, like even though at 1080p it looks a bit smudgy, it still looks good. You can tell like the team have put a lot of work into it. And I don't know if anyone played Dying Light 1 originally. The parkour is still incredible. Like the sense of speed and the sense of like momentum you have, and like the animations around it are brilliant. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I'll look to continue playing that, but after I complete Horizon, which I'm going to focus on Friday. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on to the main news, which this week happened yesterday. Because again, we're recording on the Wednesday. It happened yesterday. Cyberpunk and CDPR had a live stream in which they finally showcased and released straight after the stream the new gen versions. So that's the PS5, Xbox Series X and X versions, and a big update for the PC version as well. So the full patch notes are ridiculous, but just to summarize, you can now play it on the PS5, a dedicated PS5 version, in kind of different modes, which we'll talk about, and on the Series X and S to a degree as well. Ben, we'll start with you, because I know, like me, you've played it a bit on PC. I know Aaron might have as well, but I played it a bit on PC. Have you tried it on the consoles yet? Have you had a chance to look at it?
No, I mean we did when it hit originally. I did some performance videos.
Yes, I remember.
And the PS4 and the Series X and S running the Xbox version. It was a mess. It was just a mess.
It was a mess.
You know, obviously the whole saga with Sony taking it off sale and everything like that. I think, did it come back on sale fairly recently on the PlayStation Store? Like it just kind of showed up one day and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, well, all right." But yeah, I haven't played it yet on there. I mean, I did actually finish the game on PC. When it came out, and like, it's fine. Like it's it's a fine game. It's not groundbreaking. Well, it's not gonna change the world or anything like that. Like it kind of, it was enjoyable. I think I was talking to somebody earlier about it and said, like, the fact is that I think I found it a lot more enjoyable when I found a bunch of cheats for it and like just gave myself all of the money and bought all of the things, because like that just made it so much easier. Well, not so much easier, but just like so much more fun. But like, yeah, I enjoyed it on there. I think I enjoyed it in spite of itself, I think, for a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, whether this gives it the sales bump that it needs or whether everybody's already bought it that will want to play it, I don't know. I do think it's a very strange time to kind of stealth drop this release, because you've got Horizon coming out on Friday for PS5 owners. Then next week you've got Elden Ring.
Yep.
Shortly after that, I know it's not the same genre, it's not the same kind of game, but you've got Gran Turismo coming.
Yep.
It's like there's going to be a lot of things. And hello,
did we just lose Aaron? He'll be back. He'll be back. Go on, keep talking. Keep talking.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, like I just think it's a very, very odd time for this this version of the game to stealth drop.
It is. But I think they had to do something, right? Because they said first quarter. I think they already said first quarter, right? So that was a big deal for them. So if nothing happened, people were like, "Oh, here we go again." They've kind of delayed it again, and it's happening. But I saw a lot of stuff and to get your thoughts on this, Gary. I saw a lot of stuff, and people say, he's back! He's back! Yes, he's back! We are recording this live, so yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, Aaron disappeared for a moment, but he's back now. He's back, alright? Nothing happened. We were getting Gary's thoughts. Anyway, back to Cyberpunk. We were getting Gary's thoughts on Cyberpunk. Like a lot of people have said, Gary, that the game actually probably should have come out at this time rather than it released for it. It seems like now it's a finished game, whereas before it clearly wasn't a finished game. I mean, it's quite obvious, right?
Yeah. It was, yeah, to say it was a mess was like an understatement of the century. See, I originally really wanted to play this, and then over the time and how long it took, I was like, I actually really don't give a shit anymore. But now I've sort of seen it, and I spoke to someone yesterday that has played the PS5 version and said it was like really good. I'm now sort of getting back on the hype train of wanting to experience it and play it. Obviously, I think people are expecting a bit too much. These sort of games, you're always going to get bugs. So although it's improved massively, you're still going to see bugs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's just the way of these type of games. But from what I've seen, it looks great, to be honest. And yeah, like you say, regarding it coming out now, I think if it's done, then it doesn't really matter when it comes out because people know of it. It's not like technically it's not a new game, right? Because a lot of people have played it. So yeah, they just stealth dropped it, and I don't think that's an issue really, because if you're interested in playing it, regardless of Horizon, regardless of Elden Ring,
you're gonna play it.
You're gonna play it.
Yeah,
so
that's fair. That's fair. No, I think.
Is it? Am I right?
Go on.
Am I right in saying that it's like? Is it like half price or something?
Yeah, so I think I was going to touch on one next. They like we're saying stealth. I guess it's kind of stealth. They have shouted about it on the stream, and they've gone big with like the adverts now. Like on the YouTube pre-rolls, you'll see lots of adverts for Cyberpunk. Not only is it half price on PS5 and Xbox, it's also released with a free trial on both systems as well, I believe. So you can play it for 5 hours. And try it out, and then if you want to pay 20 quid on the PS5, I think it is, or PS4, or I think it's £25 more dearer on the Xbox systems. But yeah, you can certainly do that. I mean, it just seems like to me, going back to like, I think it was Bloomberg report, I can't remember who it was. When they spoke to like CDPR like staff, and even when they delayed it previously, the staff was saying, yeah, we're not going to be really ready until like 2022, and now. Obviously, that has come to fruition. The game seems like it's in a state where it should have been released on the consoles. Obviously, like we played it on PC. But yeah, no, I tried it a bit yesterday on PS5. I tried the performance mode, which is, I believe it's 60 FPS with like some dynamic scaling, 4K dynamic scaling going on. And then with the ray tracing...
I think it's 1440p to like 1800 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then like the ray tracing is 30 FPS again with dynamic scaling going on around the 4K stuff. But seems like to me anyway, from my naked eye, didn't seem to drop that much. Like one or two drops here or there, maybe in like some big locations. But it seems like they have done a good job. Aaron, come to you on Cyberpunk. Have you played it? I think I've been talked about you playing it a little bit.
I bought it on PC when it first came out, but obviously I was still on the older generation of graphics card, so I didn't have DLSS.
Okay.
And so that was just a nightmare. I got like an hour and I was just like, no, okay.
It's not happening.
Yeah. And obviously it couldn't flee to console because it was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least they've given people the basics of what they promised originally. My query is like, the basics wasn't what we were wowing about this game. Like the thing, like what was it like? They were going like really crazy on the AI, and if you follow somebody around, like is any of that untouched?
Yeah, yeah. So they actually showed that in the stream. Like the AI seems like much improved. Obviously, they can only show so much in the streams, but the two videos they released gameplay wise, and from what I've seen, from what I played early on, the AI seems a lot smarter, shall we say. It seems to like when I played it on the PC, it was okay, but they were bullet sponges most of the time. It seemed like it wasn't combat. Didn't seem like it was like from what they were making out from the trailers, to be honest. It seemed a bit dead, and like it didn't seem like you really had to use a lot of your powers or your, your abilities that you upgraded. It seemed that you could just go through any fight and just bang, 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 just go through it. But now it seems like they've upgraded the AI to a level where you can take advantage of what the game was supposed to be. It just seems like now is when it should have been released in 2022 sometime, but obviously that's not the case. Are you gonna now try it out on console, Aaron, or are you gonna wait?
I mean, I'm not gonna slingshot this ahead of all the new crap that's coming on now, but I will get to it at one point. Hopefully when PC parts come down in price, which is another story.
I have a feeling that this, like, given a lot of the team might play it this year now because it's fixed on consoles, it might be like a best old game thing that comes up towards the end of the year. Because the game is good. I finished it on PC. The game is good, and the thing that stood out for me was like the world is incredible. Like Night City is an incredible place to be in. There were certain things that took you out of it sometimes, with the little bugs and like the scarcity of, like, I guess the Night City itself. But they seem to have fixed that now as well. So the streets are a bit more packed during like certain times, like during the afternoon or whatever. You'll see it a bit more packed. At night it will be slightly bit more scarce. So they have improved that, and like they will react to what's happening around you. The police stuff seems to be fixed as well. I know, Ben, you were saying that was a bit of an issue. It seems to be
it was horrendous.
Yeah, they just randomly turn up, right?
Well, so like if you get a wanted level, like you'll be walking along, and then all of a sudden, like there'll be 3 or 4 police officers like that run towards you, and then you'll take them out, and then like if you turn round, they basically just all start spawning behind you all the time.
Yeah.
So like you could be on top of a remote, deserted building, like just shooting out down onto the street or whatever, and then like the police will get you.
Yeah,
because they'll just like appear from nowhere. It was absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, but I think they actively showed that on the stream yesterday that has been fixed. So that they were doing a mission where you're going through like taking everyone out, and your wanted level goes up, and as soon as you come out of the building, there's like any police around that area are actively after you. But then you went away to a different area. Obviously, there wasn't police in that area. No one was there, so no one's like just randomly behind you. So they actively showed that being fixed, I guess. But it's just crazy. Like, if they waited, and I want to finish on this. Like, if they waited until 2022, like they could have had an amazing release. Like, obviously, some people still might be disappointed given the hype, and I think this was probably the most hyped game for years. So maybe it wouldn't live up to things, but it just would have been in a state where it was like, this is a good game, but now it's kind of been tainted. But it might get second wind now. If it released in 2022, like obviously it's out now with the patch 1.5, but if they waited and released it in 2022, they could have, like, there's a bit of a period like April, May, right? They could have released it there. And that would have maybe done really well for them, because obviously right now it's jam-packed, lots of stuff happening, as you mentioned, Ben. But sadly they didn't.
This sort of reminds me of very, very much The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 sort of started off very sort of...
It was a slow start.
Like, with issues, and then over time...
had the benefit of having a freaking TV show. So they all came back.
Yeah.
They all came back.
Thrown into the abyss. Lions. It's
but they've got a bit of a sort of reputation for starting slowly, CD Projekt, and then over time the game. Like, look at The Witcher 3 now; it's like some class it is like
one of the best games,
one of the greatest games of all time. So, yeah.
I mean, maybe Cyberpunk will be in that state, and I'm pretty sure I think they might have touched upon in the stream. We'll get some free DLC as well. I mean, I know CDPR in general like to offer free DLC anyway, like first few. So I think added to that, they'll probably have some more free DLC as well, just to sweeten the package, I think, and win back some fans. But
I think I will say, like, while I agree when you say that they've obviously got it to a better point now. I think a lot of the backlash, I think Aaron was sort of hinting at this, wasn't necessarily the fact that the game launched broken. Like, there were other fundamental issues with the game.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed it, but for me, there's more than like fixing the technical side of it to making that game sort of really upper echelon of.
It wasn't ready, I don't think, for at least the public. Maybe it was like they should have had a, I don't know, maybe they could have done a beta or something with like, you know, just to figure it out. But yeah, I think you're right. And this is hopefully doesn't get into spoilers, but there are parts at the start. I remember me and you talking about this, Ben, after we finished it, where it just kind of fast forwards to a point, and you're like, oh, I really wish I could have played that part. Actually, that would be super cool. Yeah,
that whole bit with Jackie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really wish I could have played just a bit of that, just to be involved with that. I mean, that's still. I think that's maybe as designed. It's still there. So I played like the first part of the game, but yeah, and I'm sure they'll keep adding to stuff now as well. Like, and I'm sure, you know, a good game eventually might bring their reputation back to a point where they can kind of build upon it. And obviously they need to build a lot of bridges with the community. But this is the point to do.
Build some bridges with Sony as well.
With Sony as well. But yeah, it's 20 quid on the store, so Sony will be loving that as well right now, because it's bringing a lot of traffic to their store. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll hear more about Cyberpunk and like DLC and further updates as well. But yeah, we shall move on to the next story, which is a big one. This happened on the same day as we were recording last week, but later on in the evening, so we couldn't cover it. But there was a massive Nintendo Direct last week. Nintendo, yeah, massive. It was really, really big, and I didn't expect it to be personally like all the games to get announced, basically. But yeah, I mean, I'll kind of start with how it kind of kicked off. I mean, there was I don't know if anyone's a Fire Emblem fan here, but they announced Fire Emblem Warriors: Three Hopes, which is like I wouldn't say a spin-off, but it's a Musou game set in the Three Houses universe. Aaron, I want to say you're a Fire Emblem fan.
I'm not a huge one, but I do enjoy the games. I think the problem with that announcement is people wanted
another Fire Emblem, yeah.
And they got Dynasty Warriors,
a Musou game, yeah.
Okay, sure, we'll take it, I guess.
Yeah. Anyone else a Fire Emblem fan? Anyone else like into those games? No. Okay, swiftly move on. But they started with that, and then we moved on to maybe something we're all interested in is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, which is as far as I know, it's like a remaster of the old the Advance War games coming to the Switch on 8th of April. So and just remember, like the Fire Emblem games coming out 24 soon. So both games this year coming to the Switch. Advance Wars fans, Ben, are you an Advance Wars fan? No? Yes?
Never really gotten into them, if I'm honest.
How dare you? Gary?
Yeah. The one thing I don't like about this, though, is the art style. I think it looks shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just...
Get off the fence, Gary.
Wait, are you Aaron? Or what's happening here?
It's Aaron's fault. He's palmed it off to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't look good at all. Maybe it's just me. I just think it looks like a mobile game, essentially.
I mean, it's basically from like the Game Boy Advance days, right? So yeah, it's that's I don't think it's a proper remaster. So, but that's coming as well. And then like the big one that one of the big ones that I saw from this is No Man's Sky coming to the Nintendo Switch. Like, how is this how is this going to run on a Nintendo Switch? I don't know. Can anyone?
Be a cloud version, right?
It didn't even say cloud version. It didn't even say cloud version. Like No Man's Sky running on a Switch, it hardly ran on a PS4.
Crazy. I really hope it's not. The cloud version, because I played Guardians of the Galaxy on the Switch, the cloud version, and that was brutal.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Did we all play No Man's Sky when it originally came out? Yeah.
Originally, yeah.
Were we all disappointed? Yeah, we were. But, yeah. But now it is in a better state, obviously, so it's coming on across pretty much all platforms now. And it's good to see a title like that on the Switch, but I'm interested to see how it will... I mean, the trailer looked like it ran fine, but I don't know. I want to see how it actually runs on the Switch, so I'm intrigued. But that's out this summer. But the big one that I was interested in and kind of didn't expect, because I've been asking for it for a while, was Mario Strikers Battle League Football.
Yeah.
Which is just known, if you're in the US, it's just called Mario Strikers Battle League. They haven't added football on the end of it because they don't know what football is, or it's the wrong football. But that's coming out on the 10th.
Hand egg.
Yeah, hand egg. It's coming out on the 10th of June. Coming out this year as well. So, I mean, the last Mario Strikers game was on the GameCube, from what I remember correctly, and it was an absolute banger. I love the Mario Strikers game, and this is gonna have 5v5 competitive with all this like stuff you expect from it, and like online clubs as well. It's outdoing what fucking Konami couldn't do with like eFootball, basically. Have a functional football game, but obviously this is an arcade football game. It's over the top stuff. Are we interested in this, Aaron? It's like
I've never played Mario. Honestly,
really?
What?
So,
they're so much fun. They're like crazy over the top.
Missing out.
You're selling me on it.
Crazy over the top. Like basically, like you have. Did you ever play like? Oh, there was a Sega game, Sega Soccer Slam as well. Did you ever play that? Again, arcade football game. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Over the top, like basically with like all the Nintendo characters you can imagine, and like they've added stuff to this where you can like you add gear to yourself so you can like improve like your shooting or your pace or your tackling or whatever. And then you have power ups that way you can score like if you get charged enough you can score 2 goals. So it's over the top, and I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Very good.
Yeah. 10th of June. And I'm looking forward to actually playing it, like, even though Nintendo Online isn't great. I'm looking forward like just playing online. Yeah, and having a football game on the Switch, which is not rehashed FIFA essentially.
Yeah, repackaged FIFA.
Exactly. And what else did? So next up, they announced Splatoon 3, which is also out in the summer. I know Gary, you're a fan of Splatoon.
Yeah, I've sort of fell off it a bit with this one. I don't know. It's like I don't think what they showed in this direct sort of does it justice. And that was the weirdest music choice they ever used, I think, for Splatoon. It was so weird. But yeah, Splatoon 2, I played a lot of that. I think it's underrated. People don't give that the credit it deserves. It's good fun. So I'm still excited for 3, but I've sort of fallen off it a bit. I don't know. I think it was that presentation in the direct that sort of made me go, But I'm sure it's good. Well, it's going to sell millions. So
it's done well for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyone else interested in Splatoon? Ben, Aaron?
Not massively.
How dare
this was more like single player focused in the trailer though. Like I don't know if that's.
Was it Salmon Run? I think it's called.
Yes, I believe so. That's what it's called. Yeah, Splatoon. Yeah, Salmon Run Next Wave. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. But yeah, so it seems like Gary will be playing Splatoon, not us. Fair enough. The next one is one that I don't know this unless someone can educate me on this. Front Mission First Remake. Anyone know what this is?
This is so random. I'm like, Nintendo, what is this?
Yeah, what is this one? I saw this one pop up and I was like, I don't know what this is.
I must have fallen asleep during the direct. I can't remember that.
I don't know what this is. I saw this come up and I was like, I generally don't know. Can anyone? Aaron's still cracking up. Can anyone? Can anyone educate me on what this is? If anyone knows, no one knows. I mean, from
some Nintendo fan is like, yay, in a corner in a black hole somewhere on another galaxy. I have no idea what the hell this is.
I mean, the remake is due out in the summer, and they announced that a sequel is due out at some point in the future as well. I mean, it looks like, from what they showed, it looks nice, whatever it is. It looks like there's mechs and stuff involved. Some sort of mech game. I don't know. I'm not really a mech person. I don't know. It's Square Enix. But let's move on because we don't know what it is. What we do know is Disney Speedstorm. So this is a free-to-play kart racing game, like Disney Pixar Racer, online modes, etc. This looks good, free-to-play as well. I don't think it will probably upend Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which seems to have the lifespan of almost like GTA style lifespan at this point. Yeah, I know Ben, Gary, like you're huge Disney fans. Is this something you'll be getting into?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's free. I'll download it. I'll race around as Sully from Monsters Inc. for a bit, and then
what? Not our Sully. What about our Sully?
Yeah, it's got
I mean,
that sort of-
if he's available as paid DLC, then I'm happily going to fork the money over.
I think they should. I think they should. They should do it. It looks good. No, from the trailer, it did look good. I was like, is this they said it was free to play game. I was like, this actually looks like it could be like a 20-30 quid game actually. But I mean, they're going for the free to play model. I mean, it's out summer as well. So again, these games are all out this year. It's coming out in the summer. And the next one, sticking with Disney, was something Disney related as well. And it was a weird one. Star Wars Force Unleashed, a port of the Wii version on the Switch. So not even a port of like 360 or PS3, a port of the Wii version on the Switch. I know, Aaron, I vividly remember us playing this game when it was out on the 360.
The Force Unleashed was an amazingly fun game.
It was a good game.
Glitchy,
yeah. Very
glitchy.
glitchy.
It gave you the power of, like, just a crazy powerful Jedi just running around pulling Death Stars and shit out of all
Indeed.
that shit. It was amazing fun. But I don't understand why they didn't just that version. Why have we got this busted? We understand.
Yeah, it's a strange decision. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Would anyone be getting this? Or I mean, I don't think so, right? Because you can. Isn't it also like part of like Xbox Game Pass probably as well? Because at some point it was. I don't know. It might be or part of their backwards compatibility or something like that. So you can pick it up for like 50p or something and just play it on the Xbox instead.
I'll say it's probably on back compat.
Yeah, back compat. Yeah, not Game Pass. Sorry.
I have a question for you. Do you reckon that the reason they're porting the Wii version is? Do you reckon it's that Nintendo pride where they need?
I think so. I would think so. If I was
their version.
No, I would think
how
so.
Shit our old versions were.
Yeah.
Relive those memories, guys.
It just seems like why would you do it? Otherwise, you would go for like the better version, like the PS3 or X. Because I played it on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, same.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely the same.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, contractual.
Yeah, there's got to be something involved with the Wii version.
It just seems like a random one to me. Anyway, continuing of ports, they confirmed Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection as well, which is out actually 17th February, so tomorrow from the day we're recording the podcast. Quickly they announced also Gundam Battle as well, which is due out at some point this year. But the big one for most people was actually, and I have mixed thoughts on this, was Chrono Cross. The Radical Dreamers Edition was revealed and was coming to the Switch on the 7th of April. So this is essentially, I want to call it I have to call it a remaster rather than a remake. It's looked very odd. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer of like Aaron. I know you're like an RPG fan back in the day, and Chrono Cross is like the best RPG ever. Blah blah blah.
Well, I think what they've done is they've tried to keep it as true to the original as possible. So I think it's come over with all its frame rate issues and whatnot. I don't know why you'd make that decision, but it seems that's what they've done. Yeah,
it seems to have like a weird filter on it as well, which like it just seemed like a lot of people are very excited about this, but I don't want to like rain on their parade, but it just seems like it was like kind of almost a half-assed effort. Sorry to anyone working on it. It just seems like a hey, we can make money out of this. Let's just put a filter on it and release it.
I mean, there was that huge rumor, wasn't there, that like it was coming, and I don't know whether that was this or whether there's still something in the pipeline.
I would hope so. I hope maybe this is like a taster just to see what people's appetite is like for Chrono Cross. I mean, I can tell by the internet's appetite. It's huge for Chrono Cross because it's it is regarded as like the best RPG like ever. So a proper remake would be much welcome. But this just seemed very, very odd looking. That's how I'd put it. And but I mean, it's out 7th of April, so not long to wait for people. So I guess if they wanted a quick release, this is the way to do it and get some money out of it. And that's what they will be doing. One that I am excited about, and I will definitely be playing, was next up, and it was a weird trailer because they showed a new mode for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, something called Mouthful Mode, which lets Herbie inhale cars, cones, vending machines, all sorts of stuff. And
there has been some weird shit on the internet.
Yeah, the internet
this.
went crazy with it, creating all sorts of memes. Okay, let's focus on the mouthful mode thing. Let's put that like a pin in that. Let's focus on the game for now. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I mean, I think this looks good. Like, Kirby hasn't really had the limelight from Nintendo for a while, I don't think, properly. I know I'd liken this to like kind of like anyone played Yoshi's game on the Switch? I forgot what it's
Woolly
called.
World.
Woolly World. Really good. Really good. Super underrated. And they kind of gave it like the full treatment. And I feel like this is Kirby getting the full platform treatment. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks good. Gary, you seem to be nodding your head along. You're looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, it looks like, I think, like you say, Kirby has always been, or recently been, like a sort of side character for Nintendo. It's just like, oh, he's part of our sort of group, but we don't really do much with him.
Yeah.
And this looks, it's weird because it reminds me, it's like Nintendo's version of like The Last of Us, like this game, because it's like Kirby just like in his own, like, and there's like overgrown cars and like,
it looks
stuff.
it's amazing.
But it looks great, to be honest. And yeah, the whole like car like turning into a car, and it's just like, I didn't expect it, but I think it's quite a cool mechanic. I think they're using a lot of stuff from Super Mario Odyssey. Showing the same sort of tech or whatever. So yeah, this looks, I think it's out in the summer, right? Something like that.
It's out, actually, no, it's out 25th of March. 25th of March.
Oh,
so
it is,
not long to wait at all for Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
Looks nice. Aaron, will you be investing in Kirby? Come on, man.
So it looks half decent, but as Gary's saying, like, Kirby's one of those back burner kind of characters that I've never really paid attention to.
Kirby needs the limelight, all right? This is the limelight. This is Kirby's time.
And again, you're throwing it in the middle of busy. Like, there's so much coming. Like, well, who's going to have time to play this?
Yeah.
Nintendo fans. There's a lot of Nintendo fans, Aaron. You'll be
fair enough. Well, I mean, again, it's going to be one of those in 4 years' time.
You'll play it in 4 years' time, yeah. You'll be talking about mouthful mode.
It'll be 50 quid.
yeah, probably, yeah. Nintendo games do not drop in price. Yeah. Ben, will you be indulging in mouthful mode in Kirby's Forgotten
Jesus.
Land?
Always up for a good mouthful.
Yeah, you are.
No, I think it just looked bizarre. And if they don't do some sort of promotional tour with an actual
they
car,
need to.
with an actual Kirby,
amazing.
They've missed a trick. But I mean, it just looks bizarre. So
it looks awesome. It looks awesome. They got like there's like an arch mouth. There's a water balloon mouth. Like there's like all sorts of like it will make for interesting like platforming mechanics, like how you can like use that mode and like do stuff in the world. So I'm looking forward to that. I am genuinely looking forward to this game. I can't wait. Can't wait. Next up was an interesting one which we'll briefly touch upon, and maybe Gary will comment on this more. MLB The Show 22. It will be out on the Switch for the first time, because I know Gary's into his US sports. Gary, MLB The Show on the Switch. Did you expect that?
No, not at all. Because I think we was in New York, right, when the sort of announcement broke, and it was a bit like, obviously it's going to be scaled back dramatically for that to work on the Switch, because the Xbox and I should have said PlayStation version first, but the PlayStation and Xbox versions are beautiful. So for it to run on the Switch, and from the trailer, to be fair, from the trailer they showed, it does look like it's been scaled back a lot. Really does. But for Nintendo owners that want a baseball sim on the go, perfect. Yeah. I think the plan was to bring it last year, but I think obviously stuff happened and they just couldn't probably get it out in time. And then that whole MLB sort of contract where they basically told Sony San Diego, you've got to get this out on all platforms because not enough people were playing a MLB sim game. So I think, I think it's great for for people that own a Switch and want a baseball game. Yeah,
that's nice. Another one that I was quite happy about was Klonoa 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch on the 8th of July, remastered up. So these are, again, for I mean, I sound like an old fart here for youngsters listening or watching the podcast. These were back in the day on the last. I can't remember the last one now. Probably was on like the GameCube or PS2 days. I can't remember now. Probably that far back. Really good platform games. Again, are we looking forward to this, Ben? You're nodding your head along as I was talking about it.
I distinctly remember Klonoa on the PS2.
Yeah.
It's that sort of era where like I was growing up a little bit and like buying all the magazines, and like I just got this vision of like huge Klonoa, like massive cat with a baseball cap on like the cover of Play or PSM2 or whatever it was back in the day. So yeah, I'll probably pick this up.
We'll pick this up. Aaron, Gary, any interest in Klonoa? Or I mean, Aaron will play in like 10 years' time probably. So that's a yes.
Yeah, I've got to give this one a pass. I mean, it seems to be a trend here. Like if you're interested in remasters or platform games, you can be sorted in this.
The direct was it was put for, like there's still a few things to go through, so I'm gonna like skip through them quickly. Portal Companion Collection was the next one, which is Portal 1 and 2 basically coming to the Switch, which is good. More people playing Portal is good. That's a good thing. Next one was again this was the Live a Lie remake. Again, I don't know what this game is. I never heard of this. But no idea. I think it was actually, from what I think this game was never released here on this side of the pond. So I think a lot of people I actually saw were excited about this. It seems like it's a first for us here in the West. So and it's a remake, which is out on the 22nd of July. So I'm sure people in the comments saying, "Oh, I know about Live a Lie, blah blah blah." No idea what Live a Lie is, unless Aaron, you know what it is.
No, it looks like a collection of self-contained games to me, but I have no clue.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think it's the first time they released in the West. It's lovely pixel art, looks like it, but there seem like some old school games that are being re-released again. As Aaron mentioned, this direct was kind of full of those. But next one was Nintendo going back and doing something they haven't done for a while. Nintendo Switch Sports, which is the I guess they kind of coined it as the next entry in the Wii Sports series, essentially. So this is like more motion controlled sports. Do any of us like want more motion controlled sports games? Aaron seems super excited about the prospect right now. I can see it in his face.
Why are you doing this, Nintendo? I really don't understand. The problem is like
because it makes them
all the monies.
All the money. These things are really fun when you first start playing them, but after an hour or two, it goes into the corner, collects coal.
Come on, you can play it with your kids. You're gonna have kids soon, Aaron. Come on.
Yeah, no, that'll be enough for me.
Gary, Ben, yes from you.
Bowling. That's the only one.
Bowling. Yeah, it's gonna have bowling. So it's, from what I saw, volleyball, badminton, bowling, soccer. How dare you call it soccer? Football. Which is chambara, which is some sort of sword fighting, from what I understand, and tennis. So basically, kind of what was on Wii Sports, but evolved a little.
Yeah, bowling on Wii Sports was amazing.
Yeah, that's the most I played, and that's it really.
Yeah, I think they needed this for. If I'm honest, I think they needed this for the Wii U, but the fact that they've kind of brought it now, I think seems interesting. I did see they've got a beta running this weekend.
They do, and I think I was going to include that in the news story, but apparently you can't share what you're doing.
Yeah, you can't put anything out, even if you're just like not part of press. It's like you're not allowed to say anything at all
because they're going to have fun controlling everyone in the world who's part of this, sharing stuff on social media. Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
Anyway, moving on from that, we'll move quickly through the next few bits and go down to the last ones actually. But there was an update, a new Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival, which is coming to the Switch this year. I know Gary vividly has this. You bought like the collector's edition with the actual drums, didn't you?
Yeah, it's good fun. That
I
haven't played enough of it, but it's essentially imagine playing like Rock Band, the drums on Rock Band, but the Japanese version of it. Like it's crazy, like sort of pop music and like Japanese focused music. It's good fun. I didn't really see much about this one though, to be honest. I don't know what.
No, I think it's just more of the game, more DLC, content, mate, more content. The next one was Triangle Strategy, which I still think is the best name for a video game. Triangle Strategy. What's the next one? Square.
Amazing.
Dodecahedron Strategy coming up. Coming up. I don't know.
Triangle
But anyway,
Strategy.
it's coming out, and the direct was basically the new trailer and a demo, which is on the store right now. From what I hear, it's a good game. It's a very good game, but yeah, I don't think I'll be playing it. Anyone going to be playing Triangle Strategy? Just for the name? No.
Nope.
I'll probably put this after Octopath Traveler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks very similar to Octopath. In terms of the visual style, etc. So I think people are looking forward to it. I think this is an Andy game, isn't it? Let's be honest. Is it Andy game?
Yeah.
It's an Andy game. Isn't it? Hashtag
It's
Andy
probably
game.
an Andy game.
Hashtag Andy game. Okay, cool. What definitely is an Andy game is Metroid Dread. They announced a free update coming for that, which will add a harder difficulty and also a rookie difficulty as well. So if you're finding it too hard, you will be able to play it through with a bit more help. That's coming out in April, I believe. So yeah, and there'll be a boss rush battle as well added onto that. And then we'll finish up with some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because that's the game that keeps on giving.
Damn, yeah.
Booster course pass. So lots of new courses, a total of 48 new courses coming to the game on 18th of March. Those who have paid Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership get it for free, but otherwise it's around £23 from what I saw, which I don't know, for 48 courses I feel that's okay, but it also might put people off. I asked the question on our Twitter actually, like it might put people off. And I don't know if you guys are regular Mario Kart 8 players. Would
yeah, too much.
Would you be paying £23 for 48 new courses?
I mean, I think I probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just because that game has been when I've actually picked my Switch up, that's been in relatively constant rotation.
Probably the most I've played as well on the Switch yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I think 23 quid for a bunch more tracks. Like I've paid a lot more for a lot less.
This is I think we all have, haven't we? I mean, and the cadence of the courses are like 8 courses will be released at a time over 6 waves, ending in 2023. So they'll slowly be rolling out the courses, and I think some of them, I think they're saying new courses, but I don't think some of them are new courses. They're like kind of from older games, as well, from what I understand. So, Aaron, are you playing Mario Kart 8, or have you played Mario Kart 8?
I only play Mario Kart when I see Chisel and he whoops.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He was really good.
This was absolutely absurd.
So yeah, Charles on the team is really good at Mario Kart. Don't play him ever. It basically is just to say you're sick. Like when he asks you to play
even
Mario
Blue
Kart.
Shells don't save us.
No, he's so good. I remember playing. It was it might have been on the Switch actually, like a long time ago. He's really good. Damn it. Anyway, last one was, and this is one that I'm looking forward to, because I'm a kind of a fan of the series, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and they ended on a big note there. So that is coming out on in September. They didn't give a dedicated release date, but it's out in September. I'm looking forward to it. No one probably else on the podcast is.
I am actually.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Unfortunately, there were too many freaking RPGs.
Too many RPGs. Yeah.
Too many
I haven't finished Tales of Arise. I'm very close to finishing Tales of Arise, and I will finish it this year sometime. But there's games. There's lots of games.
There's loads of them, and they're all freaking good, and it's a problem because
good games. How dare you release good games, people? All right, stop releasing so many good games. Well, under that note, anyway. But yeah, that was a massive direct, and those are cover our 2 big news pieces for this podcast. But like I said, all those games are out this year. So everything we talked about is out this year. So Nintendo have a decent year ahead of them. And there's probably more stuff they haven't said. Like there was no Zelda included in this, which led people to believe that it might not be out.
People were pissed about that as well. Like, what was the last game they showed in the direct? Because people were going, right, here we go.
I think it was Xenoblade. It was Xenoblade, yeah. It was Xenoblade, and it looked
people
open
were
world.
Losing their minds.
Yeah, so no Breath of the Wild 2 there, which I think they'll give its own podium, shall we say. And no Metroid Prime 4, but I don't think that's happening this year anyway. I'll be surprised if that happens this year.
Where's Bayonetta 3?
Bayonetta 3 was supposed to be this year as well. I think they're probably wanting to give this, in my opinion anyway, I think they probably wanted to focus this direct on like all the other games, essentially, and the big hitters as they see them, like Breath of the Wild, Metroid, and Bayonetta as being one of them. They'll probably give them their own direct at some point.
Fine, man. They're saving it for the Switch Pro.
Switch Pro, yeah. I mean, definitely, I would be up for a Switch Pro like right now or yesterday, but that's another topic. Yeah. But yeah, we'll move on to some like very quick news roundup pieces. One that Ben is very excited about, and possibly other two on the podcast might be excited about as well. We've got something that was leaked and then officially announced was Horizon Forbidden West is getting its own Lego set. I mean, I don't need to summarize it.
Yeah.
Don't need to summarize it further. Ben is our resident Lego fanboy, so Ben, take it away.
Like, honestly, a week and a half ago, I said I am not buying any more Lego because I spent way too much of it towards the back end of last year.
They heard you.
And then within 2 weeks, like Lego gone, oh yeah, here's like the globe, which is an amazing like art piece on its own. I'm like, oh, that's quite cool. I'm not going to buy it though. I'm not going to buy any more Lego. And then it's like, we've got a Jurassic Park set that looks amazing. Oh, you motherfuckers. And then like 3 days later, they said, oh, and we're doing a thing on one of your favorite games of the year already. It's like, really? Really? But honestly, it looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does look great.
It's got the tall neck. Has it got Aloy in there as well somewhere?
Yes.
It's got tall neck and Aloy and like some of the environment like from the game that you create as well.
There's a tiny little burrow in there as well.
Nice.
Oh,
and it's going to be...
It's a big...
Oh, sorry, go on.
It's a big piece as well, right?
Yeah,
it's really tall.
Like 13.5 inches tall.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put all this stuff, Ben? Where are you going to put all this stuff?
Yeah.
I've got some shelves that have got all my stuff on.
Fair enough.
You can't see them.
You can put it behind you. Yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see Ben's shelves right now. He's going to carve out some space there.
I have the Lego Mario question block and the Sonic set there.
Okay.
But I'll find a place.
You'll find a place.
Don't
okay.
you worry.
You can find a place. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's going to be
on your desk.
It's going to be on your desk. Yeah. It's going to be £70, and it's out in May, I believe, May 20 something.
That's a surprisingly good price
for Lego. Yeah.
For the size of set that it is, I think it's over 1,100 bricks as well. It's like, okay, fair enough.
That's good.
I'm going to venture a guess, since Aaron's not interested in getting this.
Mate, I've got no space.
He would probably love to. I know he'd love to, but he probably doesn't have the space. But this is a thing, and I think it might hint to like more PlayStation Lego-y stuff coming as well. Actually,
well, they hinted at. I think there was a leak of like an Uncharted set.
Oh, Gary will be all over that.
Yeah.
Gary will be all over that.
I seem to remember saying to Gary, like, this is potentially a thing, and he just kind of lost his shit a little bit.
I mean, I'd be the same if they did like a Metal Gear version, so I can't blame anyone. So
that rumour about the Uncharted Lego set was a fake rumour, essentially.
But I did see that somebody had said that, because like they don't tend to have like guns in their sets.
Yeah, because the guy that originally released like the news, this is coming, he then come out. To be fair to him, he come out and said, "Yeah, I've now found out it's a fake rumor." So basically, unfortunately, but
I'm doing the Roy Hodgson meme now, where it's like, and then it's like, like that. Anyway, moving on from that, talking about Uncharted, nice segue, Gary. Thank you. The Uncharted movie is doing pretty well despite reviews. So I think I might be the only person that's watched it so far. Am I right in saying this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's decent. It's decent. But going back to the news story, so the film has launched in 15 markets with the US and Canada to follow this week, and it's doing pretty well. So it's in its opening weekend. I'm just looking at figures over here. $21.5 million in its opening weekend. 6.4 million of that was the UK. 4.5 million in Russia and 3.5 million in Spain. And obviously, like I said, it's going to be released in the US and Canada this week, which you'd expect it to do even more dollars over there. So it's doing well. It's doing well considering we're still in a COVID type world, and people probably not as interested in going to the cinema. It's doing well despite reviews that I originally read before I went to see it, and I was like, it's going to be rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's a good movie. It's a good. I think they made this for people who probably aren't into the game series. So like if you go in, like I watched it with a girlfriend, right, and she really liked it, and I was like, oh, and I watched it through, and I was like, yeah, it's good, but they've taken this from this game, they've taken this from this game, they've taken that from this game, this part is from this game. I was kind of educating her as we were watching it. I'm pretty sure I pretty annoyed her, but anyway, but I think
Asim is bouncing though.
Yeah, exactly. No, she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it's like I guess an amalgamation of like all the games and stuff you see in the games, and the way it actually finishes off. No spoilers. It seems like there will be another movie, and hopefully they build on the characters. I know a lot of people had this concern of like Mark Wahlberg would be rubbish. It's actually okay. It's actually okay in the movie. Like the clips probably don't do him justice.
Yeah, but he's still Mark Wahlberg.
He's still not Sully. I don't think they could have picked a better Sully, but he's not a car crash. Put it that way. Aaron's laughing because he has a comment. Go on, Aaron.
Oh, no, we're coming.
Go on, Gary.
I read a review that someone said Mark Wahlberg delivery of jokes is more like Nate than it is Sully.
It is. It definitely is. And Tom Holland does have like, because you're so used to seeing him in Spider-Man, you get that Spider-Man, you get that Peter Parker vibe from him.
Yeah,
and it's very hard for me to shake. It's very hard for me to shake that off.
See, this is the thing where I was like, this is what's really made me skeptical about the film. Is like they were saying, oh, it's a young Drake, it's a young Sully, all of that stuff. You're just like, what the hell? Like, what? How do you have all of these bits from the movie, from the games, put into the movie when it's supposed to be a bit like an origin story?
It is an origin story, but not also. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Come on, Gary.
Like saying like two or 3 years they do another movie. This one was a prequel. What? Tom Holland's still going to look basically the same. Like
he doesn't age.
How do they?
He's the new Paul Rudd.
He's the new Paul Rudd. Yeah, doesn't age.
Like, my issue with this movie, like this reason I haven't, like, you know how much of a fan I am of the series. Like, I would normally go out and see this straight away. My issue is the story part of it. It just seems a bit all over the place. Like, it's a prequel, but it's got parts from the third game in it. It's a bit odd. And I heard that the villain in it is a bit throwaway.
The villain is definitely not a standout. And you're right. If again, like I will caveat this, like if you're a fan of the games and you played all the games, you will find the story a bit messy because you've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, and even Lost Legacy to a degree, because they do have Chloe in the movie as well. So you will find it a bit messy, but I think they've made it for people who they want to get into the series, I guess, as moviegoers. And like I said, I'm just using the example of my girlfriend. Like, she watched it, she was like, "Yeah, I found that quite enjoyable." And she doesn't, I guess, have the history of the games that we do. So maybe I'd recommend you all watch it if you can, just to like, it's not as bad as the reviews are making it out. I don't think. I think they've been a bit harsh.
It's like a good sort of popcorn movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People that,
absolutely. And there are some genuine funny bits, and there are some. Again, if you're a fan, they have like thrown in some like nods to the games for fans. I won't spoil anything for anyone, but they're really cool. They're really cool bits.
Does Tom Holland at some point half untuck his shirt?
I mean, I'm not gonna say. You're gonna have to watch the movie just for that. You're just gonna have to watch the movie. That's also a spoiler for some people. I'm not gonna say. But yeah, we'll move on from that. We will move on to another movie a game movie that could be happening, and I'm actually quite excited about this one. BioShock movie is in the works at Netflix. So we don't have a lot of details. It's just that this came from a tweet from a Netflix affiliated account, I believe, and then Hollywood Reporter kind of confirmed it as well. Netflix, 2K, and Take-Two are partnering to produce a film adaptation of the renowned video game franchise BioShock. The game originally came out in 2007. There have been like directors and like studios linked to it. The guy who did Pirates of the Caribbean, Gore Verbinski, was originally link to it, and then it kind of changed to the guy that was behind. I think 28 weeks later, that got cancelled, but now it's being picked up by Netflix. I think this could be a good movie. What do you think, everyone on the podcast?
I will. I'll go first. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the BioShock games.
How
like,
dare you?
Well, I
First one was great.
Blasphemy.
I played like most of the first one, and I played all of Infinite.
You haven't finished the first one.
No, because when I started playing it,
Aaron, tell him about the first one. Tell him about the first one.
Would you kindly tell me about the first
Would
one?
I kindly tell you about the first one? You've probably seen all the spoilers by now at this point.
Yeah. But I think it would probably make a really good movie environment.
I think so. I think so.
You know, as long as they set it in a lighthouse, they'll be fine.
The lighthouse, yeah. And what do you think about this one? BioShock movie.
I was gonna say it's probably for the best that it doesn't go like full Hollywood.
No,
just because everybody.
You never go full Hollywood.
Never go full Hollywood.
Just because, like Uncharted and anything else, people are going to want to put their own stamp on something, and obviously it's a franchise that's beloved, and you want the atmosphere that comes along with.
Yeah, you want that.
Being about. So if anybody's going to do it at least half decently, well, on Netflix will probably do it. They've got a good run for like shows like
they do. They do.
We'll see. We'll see.
Gary, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It seems to be quite like the popular thing at the moment, where companies are turning like video game properties into movies and TV shows. I think the setting of BioShock is perfect for like an adaptation. But
Absolutely.
To be honest, I would much prefer a TV show on Netflix than a movie.
Really?
Myself.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just think you can explore that world more, because with a film you're sort of restricted by a few hours. Whereas similar to like Amazon with the Lord of the Rings series they're doing, they've got more sort of ways of exploring that world, and that world of BioShock is fantastic. So, but yeah, either way, it's a good thing.
So I think that's always the problem, isn't it? When you've got a video game or a franchise that has, 10, 15, 20-hour installments, you then try and cram that into a 2-hour movie.
That's the issue, yeah.
I don't think there will ever be a Metal Gear movie, because
no,
it'll need to
Can
be
you imagine that.
It'll need to be a month long.
It's kind of a kooky game, and
it is.
I love Metal Gear, but the story is kind of out there.
I think the story's out there, but like the main crux of it is like political espionage and like all this stuff happening. So I think it would actually work in today's world, because there's a lot of that shit going on around the world. But yeah, I think BioShock has everything it needs to be a good movie. So hopefully Netflix pull it out of the bag. And as a fan of the series, I very much looking forward to who they pick to direct it and star in it actually as well. I mean, just before we finish up on this, I don't know if any of you have seen Nightmare Alley, that came out, the movie with Bradley Cooper, etc. That basically has the BioShock aesthetic, basically. So if they can get them and transfer them over into a BioShock movie, that'd be great. Thank you. That's all I want to say. Anyway, next story. One that Aaron might be interested in. I don't know how his love for Street Fighter is these days, or fighting games in general. But Capcom is counting down to a reveal coinciding with its next Street Fighter tournament. So they've launched a teaser website. And the countdown comes up to Sunday, I think. Yeah, Sunday at 6 a.m. UK time. And rumors, speculation, obviously, around this stuff. Possibly a new Street Fighter or announcement or something around this. Aaron, what do we think?
Yeah, they haven't confirmed that it's Street Fighter.
No.
So people are just like speculating. But to be fair, like Street Fighter 5 had like a rough time of it. It's only just coming to its own, like, and really it's only prospering like because of the competitive scene, like the actual pros and whatnot. So they need to do something. If it's going to be Street Fighter, they need to do something to bring back the casual audience, because if they don't, I feel like the series might be in trouble a little bit. I don't think they can have another Street Fighter 5. If I'm correct, Sony kind of half funded Street Fighter 5, didn't they? Like,
Yes,
so
correct.
Like,
Yeah.
unless nudge, nudge, wink, wink, there's
There's a deal
happening there. They literally cannot afford to have Street Fighter 6 flop. So they need to get as much hype around it, and they need to make sure the gameplay is there, and make sure we've got a complete game. No Cyberpunk syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a complete game on release
because they launched Street Fighter 5 without parts of the game you'd expect, right? From what I remember, and then eventually they released like a full edition at some point. Weren't there characters missing as well?
No, they weren't missing. It was just there wasn't many characters.
Okay.
So in a time when, I mean, like fighting games are kind of popping off right now.
Yeah.
There's rosters like 18 to 40 plus. Like they came out with maybe 12, if that. I can't remember actually. Okay. But it wasn't a lot. But yeah, there was a lot missing from that game. They can't have another situation like that, and they need to get all the hype on board. So if it is Street Fighter, make sure that reveal's on point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this would be a way to hype it up because they've got the countdown there, and I think it's the 35th anniversary of this series as well this year. So this is a nice way to reveal it. I don't think you guys are into like Street Fighter, but I'm gonna ask you guys anyway. Ben, Gary, start with Ben. Street Fighter. Anything?
Yeah. The only time I play Street Fighter is when I'm drunk at a house party.
Fair enough. Well, Gary, are you the same? Are you getting drunk and playing Street Fighter, or are you sober?
I haven't played Street Fighter for a long time. I used to be really into him, like back in the day, like on the Super Nintendo and that. But yeah, it's not really my thing now, and I'm not very good at them, so it's just like I stay away from them. Or
button bashing is my thing, as far as I'll get button bashing. Yeah. Maybe learning a few combos, but then the spamming them, and that's as far as I go. But yeah, let's see. We'll find out. Maybe discuss it on the podcast next week. The news will unveil on the 20th of February. Staying with Capcom for the last bit of news roundup. And the last bit of news is Resident Evil 4's remake will reportedly be announced soon, and it will have a few tonal changes to it as well. Originally, I think a lot of people were expecting this to be announced this week. Capcom were teasing something on that side, but it was just turned out to be a website update, which was hilarious, which pissed a lot of people off. But this has been rumored for a while now, like Resident Evil 4 remake. Obviously, they've remade 2, 3, and it would make sense to go back to 4 now that they've done that. So this is according to a report from Fanbyte gaming site. They're saying that the tonal changes will be like, I don't know if hopefully you will play Resident Evil 4. The opening section takes place in that Spanish village during the afternoon or morning. They're gonna change that to night. Which I think tonally would be a lot different. But I think it makes sense for new, back in those days on those like GameCube or whatever. At night it probably might have not had the same impact, like the visual impact and clarity, I guess. So, but now with like the consoles and like the HDR and like the level of detail that you have, it will be a bit more clarity to it. But apparently, it's happening. A Resident Evil 4 remake, Aaron. Would you be up for playing that in 4 years' time?
Well, first of all, Resident Evil 4, the best Resident Evil. Fuck all you Resident Evil traditions.
I mean, a lot of people will say, Aaron, you're wrong on that. A lot of people will say...
Nah, I agree with
that.
I agree.
Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil. Don't give a crap.
Mate, in 5, Chris punches a boulder.
Aaron and I know. We played it co-op.
Another bite. Anyway, when you were saying they're changing tonally, I was like, but if it's just going to be things like changing the time of day, then that's fine.
Yeah,
you need to keep this game as close to what it is and was as you possibly can. I think somebody they're in the process of already. Well, I think it stopped, didn't they? They were in the process of actually making a really good remake.
Yeah,
you need to be on that line. Keep it as close as possible. Don't make too many outrageous changes, and this will be a banger.
Absolutely. I think that's the mistake they made with 3. Like 3 was a good remake in terms of like technical remake. They cut a big portion of the original Resident Evil 3 out, and that pissed a lot of people off. So hopefully they're taking that feedback, and if they are remaking 4, which it seems like they are, they'd keep the crux of it the same. If they want to change certain scenes, as you mentioned, Aaron, like change them at nighttime, etc. then that's absolutely fine. Gary, you said you agree with Aaron that Resident Evil 4 is the best
100%,
Resident Evil game. So you're both incorrect, really, to be honest. But that's fine. That's fine. You're
How
right.
dare you?
No. So I'm guessing you're excited if this happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be honest. I'm not like an avid Resident Evil fan, but like I played the remake of 2, which I thought was phenomenal. I remember, I think that was close to becoming like game of the year for us. And there was a lot of sort of media outlets that gave it like game of the year. It was a great remake.
Yeah.
Never played 3. Just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't sort of get around to it. But yeah, I'm really excited for 4. If they can keep the majority of how it was originally, like my worry is because of what they did with 3. I'm hoping that they don't do that with 4.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
But yeah, if they don't do that, then I think this could be a winner.
Yeah. So we'll be getting an announcement at some point this year. I mean, Ben, I know we disagree, but I mean, a lot of people agree with Aaron and Gary. Like in 2005, Capcom's highest rated game of all time, according to Metacritic, sales of 10.4 million copies across various platforms. So maybe we're wrong and these guys are right, but I don't think so.
I mean, to be fair, I am taking the piss. I do think that 4 is probably up there. I mean, I love 1 for what it is.
2, it has to be 2, man. Come on. But anyway, go on.
2 is amazing.
I mean, to be fair, like 4 released with a controller that was shaped like a chainsaw.
I still have that somewhere. I still have that. Aaron knows I have that.
What more do you want?
I still have that. So if they re-release this, please release that chainsaw controller again.
Chainsaw DualSense. Oh,
no, please do that.
Oh,
yes.
No.
Yeah. I'll definitely buy that. But yeah, it's going to be announced sometime soon, Ben. I know you have a adversity to playing horror games, but will you be playing this? It's not really a horror game though. 4.
Resident Evil is not really a horror game.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I played 5 co-op with Johnny.
That's not a horror game either. Yeah.
No, I know, and that's the thing. Like, I played 7 and nearly shit my pants.
That's a horror game. So, yes, that's definitely is. Yeah.
I'll probably play it. Like it won't be high up on my list of priorities to get played, but I'll probably give it a go.
It needs to be like a feature that we introduce where Ben plays games he doesn't want to play. This should be one of them. Yeah.
We have discussed this.
Awesome. So we're all looking forward to it. That's good. Bloodborne, yeah. Bloodborne. No, Elden Ring. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
I did an hour-long play. I did for like first hour of Demon's Souls.
I remember this.
Yeah. And like, apparently, I wasn't too bad at it.
You didn't do too bad, Ben. Didn't do too bad.
But no, I'm not going back to the game.
All right, fair enough. Anyway, we will finish up there because I've gone over our kind of hour mark because there was a lot to discuss from the Nintendo Direct, basically. So we blame Nintendo for that. But you got to hear us and watch us if you're watching on YouTube for a little bit longer than usual. We will finish up there. But before we finish up, we will say that we still have lots more content coming to the site. Ben, you still have possibly a few more Horizon bits coming, I believe.
Yeah, so there will be by the time this is live, there will have been a Horizon video yesterday, which was a Let's Look At, where me, Andy, and Johnny sit down and discuss things while I play Horizon. It starts to go off the rails at one point because I was trying to get to a very specific point in the early game, but hopefully Andy's done some work on that one to keep it all streamlined.
Nice.
And I am also working on a video to kind of help find and pinpoint some of the hidden trophies, because there's some hidden trophies in the game, and there are, I think there's one with a missable element.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put a little video out. I wanted to get that out for yesterday, but I've just honestly just not had time. So it'll probably be the weekend by the time that's up.
Nice. And we probably have more stuff coming up soon as well. So stay tuned to basically the website, YouTube channel, and on Twitter, which is all Next Gen Base. Apart from Instagram, which is Next Gen Base _ I hate that person who took that account.
Some dickhead.
Yeah. It's me. No, I'm joking. Stay tuned. And obviously at some point, even though we haven't got it yet, we'll have something Gran Turismo related as well. Because that is coming out very soon. That will be happening. But thank you all for being on the podcast this week. Aaron, welcome back. You are back and in good health. and with
my friend.
and with your hot takes. I love it. And Gary has been like, shall we say, persuaded by your hot takes, so he's joined you in his condemnation of video games. Amazing. Gary, thanks for being on as well. Appreciate it as always.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
And Ben, thanks for being in the hot rotating chair this week.
Right, it is a bit hot.
It is a bit hot.
Yeah.
That might be for other reasons, though. So, but we'll not talk about those reasons, and we'll end it. We'll end Basecast 195 on that note. Thank you for listening, watching. We will be back next week. Until then, stay happy, stay gaming, stay healthy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.